thank you for watching my video channel and watching my video blogs. This is the first I've done in a while. I did one a few days ago, but that was my first in probably a year. And what I want to talk about tonight is the current state of the world and a couple of phrases that we like to throw around, and I'm not 100% sure we understand what those actual phrases mean. As far as the current state of the world, there, of course, you'd have to be born under a rock or living under a rock if you didn't know that there was some pretty major things happening in the world, and people getting killed and terrorist act, or whatever you want to refer to them as, false flags, whatever you want to refer to them as. It doesn't really matter. People are being killed, and people are being scared. And so we're also on social media arguing with each other, arguing about political candidates, who's right or wrong about whatever theory it is that we feel that we're right about, that kind of stuff. And so what I'm here to talk about is that, yeah, these things are happening. And what I do know for sure is that as we argue, as we get heated, as we fall into fear, then we can't stay and think with a clear mind. And we need a clear mind in order to be able to make sound decisions. And that leads me to my first term that a lot of people like to throw around, and that's the word discernment. And so I'm going to put the definition here on the screen, but I'm going to go ahead and read it to you as well, and then we'll discuss it a little bit here as well. So the definition here we have here is discernment is the ability to obtain sharp perceptions or to judge well, or the activity of so doing. In the case of judgment, discernment can be psychological or moral in nature. In the sphere of judgment, discernment involves going past the mere perception of something and making nuanced judgments about its properties or qualities. Considered as virtue, a discerning individual is considered to possess wisdom and be of good judgment, especially so with regard to subject matter often overlooked by others. So it's interesting because we throw that around even in business. We want to operate with good discernment and judgment. And so what discernment is to me and how you gain it is you have to have a certain amount of wisdom. So you have to have had a certain amount of experience. And yeah, there's some intuition involved in there as well. But even with intuition, we had to practice using our intuition and practice listening and paying attention and getting still and within ourselves in order to be able to listen to that. So discernment to me happens when you've done a lot of study, you've gone out and practiced, you've gone out and experienced, and then you're able to process information based on careful pondering and careful processing of information, even if it's something that is not physically seen. And sometimes you're just giving your best guess based on how you feel or how you see things. And so discernment, when you're processing through information, you have to use a level of a little bit of logic, in the sense if something doesn't make sense or something doesn't add up and it raises a question, then you want to dig a little bit deeper. You want to pay a little bit more attention. That kind of stuff. That is the practice of discernment. And so what I mean by practicing is that sometimes, and actually a lot of times in life, we have to go out and we have to make decisions and make mistakes and kind of fall flat on our face, so to speak. And so when we fall flat on our face, we start to gain some wisdom about what works and doesn't work. Not that we're in fear, not that we fell down and then we are afraid of doing anything again, but basically maybe we're practicing a little bit more patience, so to speak. Maybe we're thinking about things before we're so impetuous. And so with that being said, discernment, when it comes to gaining it with wisdom, starts to say, hey, so I did something similar to this before. It didn't work out as well as I thought it would. And hey, I've seen this before, and let me just think about that for a bit. And where discernment is going to be super important right now is because there's so much information being given to people. There's so much being put out there on alternative media channels, NBC, ABC, David Wilcock, all this kind of stuff, and not against any of them, but what I want people to do is to start really paying attention and using discernment, meditating, get still. When you get still, your mind is calm, so you're not jumping at every impulse and saying, "Oh, that's what I think it is. That's what I think. That's what I think is wrong with the world." What discernment does, and stillness does, and pondering does, it starts to make you go, like I was saying before, and something doesn't add up right with that, or we'll just wait and see. Let's check and see. That's an interesting theory there. And so, unlike before, let's say that let's give you this example of when you were a teenager or even a young adult and something exciting happened, you were like, you just jumped towards that. It's an exciting opportunity. But you jumped towards it, and later on you were like, maybe that wasn't what I needed to do. That hurt a little bit more. That didn't work out exactly the way I wanted it to. And so, now that we've gotten older or we've gotten into this wisdom, or even if you're still younger, you can start to look at things and say, hey, let's practice a little bit of patience here. And if this is something that I really want or need to do or desire to do, then things will unfold perfectly the way they're supposed to make that happen. And it'll flow, and so when we're talking about flowing together, we make a decision and we kind of go in that direction. If we're doing something that makes us paddle up river, upstream, and it's that hard, then it's probably not in flow. And if it's smooth sailing, then you know that the universe made it happen for you, and it's moving in the momentum that it needs to go in. So, what happens with what's happening in the world right now, and why discernment is so powerful, is that as you're looking at all these things, you can start saying, you're not going to get swayed. You're not going to jump into fear. You'll still have tremendous amounts of compassion for people hurting and people losing their lives and stuff like that. And you'll speak the truth, and you'll want people to be held accountable, but you won't do it with a sense of vengeance. You won't do it with anything other than compassion and love. And yes, people that harm and hurt other people, yes, they need to be held accountable for their actions. And yes, we do need to speak the truth about people manipulating other people, controlling other people. That is incorrect. That is not what human beings are supposed to do to other people. The cabal and the elite, whatever we want to refer to it as, the archons or archons, however you want to pronounce it, that energy is incorrect. And the only way to fight that is to speak the truth, hold them accountable, but do it with peace, do it with love, not with vengeance, not with hate, not with anger. We do it with peace, we do it with love, we do it with truth, we do it with integrity, and we hold them accountable with those principles. So, and one of the other things that I wanted to talk about is the word mindfulness. So the definition of mindfulness here is the quality or state of being conscious or aware of something. Their mindfulness of the wider cinematic tradition. The alternative definition here is a mental state achieved by focusing one's awareness on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations used as a therapeutic technique. Now, what mindfulness is to me, and that was just the definition, so what mindfulness to me is paying attention to, yes, your emotions, your feelings, your body, if it twitches, if it does any has any anxiety going on it. And when you understand all those things and you feel them, then you're able to shine a light on it so that you can overcome it, so you can become aware of it. And the more and more you get aware, the lighter you get energetically. And so the lighter you get energetically, emotionally, and physically, mentally, soulfully, then the freer your soul gets, the freer your body gets, and the more mindful you get, the more you're able to discern, because as you shine lights on things within yourself, then you become more at peace and love with yourself. And so when that happens, then you're not responding to everything that happens. You're not, better choice of words, you're not reacting to everything that happens. Now you're stepping back and saying, now you're starting to pray for peace and hope and love and justice and accountability. And now you're starting to pray for abundance for everybody, compassion for everybody, love, empathy for everybody. And when we can do that instead of wanting to lash out and be angry, then we'll have achieved that level of peace. Then that request that you're making right now, I choose peace, as opposed to pain and suffering and anger. You're making a conscious choice to go down that path for yourself. And so that's mindfulness, and that's discernment. So as these things are happening, as more crazy things start to happen, I really want you just to practice mindfulness and discernment and really pay attention, meditate, be still, feel compassion, feel peace, choose love. And I can guarantee you we'll start to see a shift in this planet, because we'll stop responding, we'll stop reacting, and we'll take our true power back for ourselves and our lives. Many blessings. Love you. Bye-bye. Namaste.